Hi, Jim. It's very nice to have you here today. And right now, it's a really, to me, I feel like it's a very exciting moment for the field. And with the great breaking news from Regeneron for the hearing loss program, the success, regulatory success there, and for you, that remarkable career in gene therapy with a contributed to 3 major milestone approvals, including the Luxturna at Spark and Kidilivi at PTC, and as well as the latest for the hearing loss rare disease. And I want to hear that what has been changed since your first approval for Luxturna, that how the field evolved at this time.
Yeah, thank you, Jinhong, for inviting me to this symposium. So definitely Philadelphia is the world leading center for gene and cell therapy. And a place I call home for over 20 years before I moved to Regeneron. So I had the opportunity, like you said, working on Luxturna. So if I look at the past 10 years in terms of regulatory environment, I think FDA is more supporting using single trial based on accelerated approval pathway for supporting gene therapy approval compared to maybe 10 years ago. If you look at the trial design for Luxturna, it's pretty much, I think now I look at it, it's more follow a little bit traditional pathway from phase 1 and moving to a randomized controlled study in phase 3. And also it takes years for the sponsor to work with FDA to develop a validated clinical endpoint for assessing efficacy. So from that angle, I think the field continued to make strides, and the regulatory environment, I think, is becoming a little bit more, I wouldn't say accommodating, maybe more standardized in the sense you could anticipate, a phase 1, phase 2 study has the potential supporting registration. That means sponsors have to think about those much more earlier. And also at the same time, think about the CMC development that, because simply if you could accelerate clinical timeline, then your CMC timeline has also come along to meet together in order to bring those products to registration and commercialization.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear. And in terms of more products moving into commercialization, as well as reach broader population of the patients, and now we have more related to rare disease. And what about common disease? I mean, what is your thought the field is heading to?
Yeah, definitely. I think for common disease is right. So basically, you're utilizing the gene therapy approach for treating common diseases. So then a few things come to mind. For common disease, you probably have a well-established standard therapy. So then in terms of regulatory assessing this type of product is a little bit different compared to a gene therapy targeting ultra-rare orphan disease where these diseases are very debilitating and there's no current standard therapy. So then for common disease, definitely the challenge there is that, of course, you're going to reach, if successful, you're going to reach much more broader population. But then in terms of, you're really developing a gene therapy approach for treating common disease in terms of safety aspect, right? So those need to be more careful consideration. So definitely, I think I have seen companies are developing gene therapy for targeting common disease in the wet AMD area. So I think we worked together before, right? In Alviron-backed technology, they are developing an AAV gene therapy for treating wet AMD. So I think that study is continuing. And I think it's a field will continue to develop. And it's great that we have multiple tools, right? Using the similar technology to target not only rare diseases, but also common diseases. But in terms of regulatory consideration, I think the consideration may be a little bit different in the sense of, we have a standard therapy where you need to be more in terms of looking at safety aspect, right? So then you're really how you position your, common disease gene therapy versus a standard therapy. So those are really coming to mind.
Thank you very much for sharing your perspective, Jim. And for the as a highly achieved leader in a CGT field, what's your advice to the emerging leaders in the field? And what would be a few words to those leaders?
Yeah, I think myself, I'm very lucky to be in this field. If I think about my career development, not too long ago, I was a graduate student working in the lab, isolating anti-cancer compounds from natural resources. That seems not too long ago, and now we're working together for developing, our targeted gene therapy. So I think just myself, I always were interested in science. I was a scientist by training, and later, I think, a while ago, 20 years ago, I moved to regulatory, which I really enjoyed because everything is rooted in science. And, in regulatory, I continue to learn, a new product, a new therapeutic area. So definitely, it's really a rewarding and a humble experience for me to, work with cross-functional teams and developing gene therapy. So I think that's probably a few things come to mind. And I feel like the field is continually evolving and continue to deliver innovative therapy for patients. I think that's really remind me why I still love this field and is continue to evolve. New challenges continue to pop up, but then it's really a field that has tremendous promise for the patients. So.
Yeah, congratulations for your achievement in several milestone approvals in the field, and we're really happy to have you here, and hopefully we'll see you in the future events.
Thank you so much.